Hi, my name is Milton Lima, and in this video today, I will discuss the major points of an article focused on small group instruction in the classroom, sharing my agreement and critique of various strategies. The guiding question is, what are your recommendations for how best to set up and organize small group in classroom instructions? So my first topic is gradual release of responsibility that was brought by Julie Stearns. The authors bring the concept of gradual release of responsibility, and she says that's very important for organizing small group instruction. That it outlines a clear process for shifting the learning from teacher-led to student-driven through 4 different stages. First one, I do it as a teacher model, we do it as a group practice, and then you do it together with peer collaboration, and finally, you do it as an individual proficiency. I personally agree with this framework, particularly because of this balance between explicit instruction and peer learning. The idea of conducting on-spot assessments, and in between the we do it, you do it together stages, to identify misconceptions and form quick reteaching groups is highly practical in my opinion. This flexible grouping allows teachers to target student needs in real time, preventing gaps in understanding. However, one potential issue for that is that the time is a constraint. It's typical in the classroom. Implementing multiple phases effectively requires significant planning. And without enough class time, there's a risk of rushing through the stages. The second point is personalized learning plans. A personalized learning plan would be emphatic for both the building construction and for the small group setup. The teachers and students, they collaboratively would create goals on student interests and their learning needs, which I find valuable for fostering intrinsic motivation. I strongly agree once again with the idea of using personalized learning plans to inform groupings as they align instruction with student goals and make learning more meaningful. One area where I would be cautious though is the logistics of maintaining and updating learning plans regularly. While they are excellent in theory, ensuring that every student's plan remains relevant over time, it could become labor intensive for teachers already managing other instructional demands. Third point is formative assessment. They are crucial for grouping students based on skill levels or specific learning targets. This concept aligns well with my experience. Using lots of different checks like exit tickets or lab reports to form short terms and skill-focused groups. The key is using assessment not just to measure, but to respond to the data. I like the authors using the term the different trees, which matches with the responses guides that teachers will use in the next steps to support and further challenges that would align with the differentiated instruction principles and support diverse learning needs as well. One critique that I have is the risk of over-relying on assessments, which can narrow the focus to measurable skills and possibly overlooking broader creative or social learning goals that also thrive small groups. Practical social skills is another thing that the authors bring to the text. The small groups are also a great avenue for social emotional learning. Nancy Garrett, Laura Smith, and Krantz, they highlight the importance of teaching relationship skills, conflict resolution, and empathy. I personally strongly agree with this, as my experience shows also that students learn to collaborate better when they give time to practice these skills in a structured environment. Smith and Krantz specifically, they point out co-creating group norms with students will be particularly powerful, because allowing students to set up their expectations will foster accountability and encourages a more harmonious group dynamic. I also like to emphasize that varying group configurations, including interest and random groupings, as this helps students to build diverse relationship and cognitive flexibility. The last point is the whole class instruction followed by small groups, brought by Louisa Morrison. Well, the author recommends starting with a whole group instruction and then gradually releasing students into a small group. That will be an approach that have been used in my classroom as well. It's effective because it ensures all students receive the same foundation of instruction before moving into groups for deeper engagement. I particularly appreciate the idea of guiding reading, for example, the guiding reading centers for literacy, where the teacher can focus on specific needs while other students work independently. However, the challenge here is managing the rest of the class, of course, while working with a small group. It requires a high level of classroom management and independent learning structures, which may take time to establish, especially with the young students or students with attention challenges. Well, in conclusion, I believe that organizing small groups effectively requires careful planning, flexibility, and intentional teaching for both academic and social skills. Using gradual release formative assessment and social emotional learning strategies, teachers could meet diverse student needs and promote collaboration and independence in their classroom. Thank you for watching.